Part 62. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 611. Xiao Xian noticed. When Gongsun Xiao saw this jade sword, his eyes revealed some love. It's like a child seeing a long-lost favorite toy. He grabbed the jade sword with his small palm and waved it slightly, and the jade sword slashed out a fierce wind. The next second, the wooden house in the distance cracked and split into two. This can actually have such power, seeing such a tragic scene. Xiao Xian was a little grinning from ear to ear. Gongsun Xiao was just a little girl who had never practiced before. How could he be so powerful when he made a move today? As expected of a born sword embryo. Even those geniuses from outside the region who have practiced for many years cannot exert such power when they touch the Jade Phoenix sword for the first time. Chen Lao showed approval. It seems that you are the natural master of this Jade Phoenix sword. What Chen Lao means, is this jade sword given to Xiao Xian was shocked. He could see at that time that this Jade Phoenix sword was at least a spiritual treasure above the earth level. Who would have thought that it would be given to Gongsun? Too small. For our Jade Sword sect, swords are just foreign objects. This Jade Phoenix sword is barely usable, so I gave it to her, Chen Lao said with a smile. Who is wielding a sword to do evil in our Qinghua Academy? At this moment, 5 or 6 fierce winds suddenly appeared outside the sky, and several serious-faced old men appeared from the clouds. Surprisingly, they are several branch deans of Qinghua College. It turns out that Gongsun Xiaoxiu's sword swing just now naturally alerted the senior officials of Qinghua Academy, and even Dean Kanglong came out to check. I wonder who you are. Why do you do this in our Qinghua Academy? The speaker was none other than Punishment Elder Lei Hongming. As a master of the Blue God realm, he could tell at a glance that this elder was a projection of light and shadow, and he frowned and asked. I'm just an old man from outside the territory. Chen Glao was not afraid and just responded with a smile. Looking at the senior's strength, I'm afraid he has already entered the Golden God realm. Why do you want to come to our Qinghua Academy? Lei Hongming said in a solemn tone. I just saw a disciple with a very good talent. I like him very much and want to take him back to train him. That's all. After finishing speaking, Chen Lao looked around. What? Is it possible that you still want to stop him? Although Qinghua Academy's strength is average. But we can't let outsiders take away the academy disciples at will. Otherwise, wouldn't we look down upon others? Lei Hongming's voice is like a loud bell. There was even a sound of thunder and lightning in his tone. What? Could it be that you saw that I was a projection and thought that I was easy to bully? Chen Lao remained indifferent. Senior, please don't get angry. We came here just to check it out, there is no harm done. Kanglong stopped Lei Hongming, cupped his hands and said, I am Kanglong, the dean of Qinghua College. Who do you dare to be? Why did you take away this little girl? Jinjing Dynasty, Chengfeng. Mr. Cheng raised his head slightly. This is actually an elder from the Jinjing Dynasty. I didn't know that the elder is here to visit. Please forgive me. What surprised Xiao Xian was. After hearing Chen Lao's words, Dean Kanglong's expression suddenly changed. He no longer had the same attitude as before. He hurriedly came down from the clouds, led the deans behind him, and knelt on the ground with a plop. He who does not know is not guilty. Today, I didn't plan on having such a big battle. Do you have anything else to do? Chen Glao looked at Kanglong lazily and said thoughtfully, Kanglong, I have heard of this name. My father once escorted the spirit to the Jinjing Dynasty. The elder may have seen it, Kanglong explained quickly. It seems, his name is Kang Wu. He was a good seedling, but unfortunately, he went to the land of Kang Yuan and died, Chen Lao said casually. What? My father died? Kanglong was shocked. He staggered and almost fell to the ground. You too, do you have anything else to say? Changfeng still smiled when facing Xiao Xian and Gongsun Xiao Xiao, but he also seemed to be urging them. Xiao Xiao, when you get there from now on, you have to listen to Chen Lao and practice hard, you know. Xiao Xian hesitated for a moment, then forced out a smile and said, when I have the strength, I will go back to the outer world to find you. If you don't have strength, even if you go outside the territory, you will be someone who can be easily manipulated by others. Lei Hongming reacted quickly and quickly grabbed Kang Glong's arm, preventing the dignified dean of Qinghua Academy from falling to the ground. What's wrong? Xiao Xian was a little confused. He naturally knew what Changfeng said. That's true. This woman's physique is a natural sword fetus. She is exactly the talent our Jade Sword sect needs. I will take her away today. Gongsun Xiao Xiao is not very old, but he has become very sensible after experiencing being abandoned since childhood. Compared to the illusory promises of Jade Sword sect. What's more, Gongsun Xiao Xiao was born with a sword, so he might be much better than him in terms of strength and talent. Take this Jade Sword. If you go outside the territory in the future and crush this object, someone will naturally bring you to me. On the contrary, Xiao Xian had a sad look on his face. He knew that if he accepted Chen Lao's Jade Sword, he might not be able to see Gongsun Xiao Xiao for a long time. The little one is still young, so I have to take care of you as I grow older. In the future, if you encounter trouble, you can use this object to notify my Jade Sword section. Neither crying nor fussing, just looking at Xiao Xian seriously. Chen Lao waved his hand, and two small silver swords appeared in front of him, and were sent to Kang Long and Xiao Xian respectively. There is none left. Xiao Xiao will be obedient. Xiao Xian didn't know how to face Chen Lao, so he just smiled slightly, cupped his hands and said, "Thank you very much." There seems to be thousands of nostalgia in a pair of big eyes. Well, brother Xiao Xian will never break his promise. Xiao Xian reluctantly let go of Gongsun Xiaoxiao's hand. Even if I see Gongsun Xiao Xiao, then, what will happen? From the attitudes of Kang Long, Lei Hongming and others, it can be easily seen that the place where Changfeng comes from must be extremely powerful. Changfeng looked at Xiao Xian and said, however, if you are not strong enough, there is no need to come outside the territory. Xiao Xiao must remember brother Xiao Xian's appearance. He is waiting for you in the outer world. Brother Xiao Xian must not break his promise. Gongsun Xiaoxiao's face was full of seriousness. Xiao Xian pursed his lips. Kang Long was overjoyed and quickly took it carefully. That's all. Then it takes more effort. But when things got to this point, seeing Kang Long respecting Changfeng so much, he also understood that perhaps the separation from Gongsun Xiao Xiao had been avoided. Xiao Xian is more willing to cherish the people in front of him. Maybe when they meet again, this little girl will become someone he needs to look up to. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 612. You are welcome. Speaking of which, I would like to thank you for eliminating the little knot in your mind, otherwise this knot will affect her future cultivation. Chen Lao was also very satisfied. In this case, I will leave. On the horizon, a hurricane suddenly appeared. A huge sword shadow in the hurricane was like a central iron pillar, landing next to Changfeng with ease. Changfeng took Gongsun Xiao Xiao behind the iron sword. The iron sword rose into the sky like a flowing cloud and disappeared into the sky in an instant. Look at the shining bright spots in the sky. Xiao Xian felt empty in his heart, and couldn't help but think of the scene when he first met Gongsun when he was a child. I think of Gongsun Xiao Xiao gobbling up beautiful spiritual beast stones. Recalling that when Gongsun Xiao Xiao fell ill, Xiao Xian used the Tao power in the Tao stone to relieve her pain. All these things made him feel confused. Xiao Xian, don't be too sad. It's not necessarily a bad thing for Gongsun Xiaoxiao to go to Tianyu outside the territory. You should be more open-minded. Wu Meng walked to Xiaoxian. Besides, it is her blessing to be favored by someone of Chen Lao's level. Regarding Wu Meng's words, Xiaoxian naturally knew it, but at the same time, he still felt unspeakable loneliness in his heart. Dean Wu Meng, I heard that your lineage performed well in this martial arts competition. In the end, it seems that it was the Xiaoxian who used the large formation to win. Beside Kang Long, a middle-aged man with an arrogant face glanced at Xiaoxian. His eyes were like knives. Good. Xiaoxian is one of the most talented new students in my lineage. Wu Meng stepped forward and stood in front of Xiaoxian. Does Dean Wang Ao have anything to say? Wang Ao? Xiaoxian frowned slightly. He couldn't help but look towards Wang Ao, and sure enough, he saw an unruly and wild Taoist energy in the latter. This Taoist power can only be suppressed by Dean Kang Long. The other branch deans were actually at a disadvantage. Obviously, Wang Ao is the strongest among the 7 branch deans of Qinghua College. Not bad. I heard that before selecting freshmen, this Xiaoxian took the initiative to attack Bai Vucheng and almost killed him, right? Wang Ao's eyes seemed to show a bit of narrowness. With such a character, no matter how talented you are, you probably won't achieve much in the future. Talk about it? At that time, the little fight between Xiaoxian and Bai Vucheng did end up in a life and death situation. If Bai Sheng hadn't taken action, Xiaoxian might have killed Bai Vucheng. Of course, Xiaoxian also understood. It is almost impossible to kill people in such an important place as Qinghua College. Is there such a thing? Kang Long frowned slightly and couldn't help but glance at Xiaoxian. He roughly felt that Xiaoxian seemed to be a cultivator, but if he was impetuous and aggressive, he would have no future. Dean Kang, don't get me wrong. As far as I know, the battle between Xiaoxian and Bai Vucheng was entirely due to Bai Vucheng's provocation, and Xiaoxian was forced to fight back. Wu Meng took the initiative to help Xiaoxian explain. Hearing this, Kang Long frowned slightly. For him, both Wang Ao and Wu Meng were vice presidents of Qinghua College, although Wang Ao suffered a slight loss in the battle over the martial arts. But he is an official descendant of Wang Ao's lineage. But they are much stronger than Wu Meng's lineage, and there are even a few who have reached the threshold of the Blue God realm, which is very powerful. Moreover, in terms of strength alone among the deans, Wang Ao is superior. So as the dean of Qinghua College, he would naturally protect Wang Ao to a certain extent, so there was no other expression on Kang Long's face. It's normal for freshmen to have some fights, but they can't kill at will. Both of them are wrong. Each played 50 big boards. Look at the situation on the surface. This seems to be a scene of maintaining a tie, but Xiaoxian and Wu Meng are not fools and can see some things from it. At that time, it was clear that Bai Vucheng was bullying others and taking the initiative to provoke. In the end, he was forced to a dead end by Xiaoxian and almost lost his life. But now, listening to Kang Long's words, it seems that both parties are still at fault, which is obviously biased towards Bai Vucheng. Yes. Although Xiaoxian was uncomfortable. But in front of everyone, he didn't dare to confront Kang Long, so he simply bowed his head. Good. After Kang Long finished speaking, he turned and left. The other branch deans also looked at Xiaoxian and Wu Meng, and left early because it had nothing to do with them. On the other hand, Wang Ao and Bai Sheng looked at each other, looked at Wu Meng and said, "It seems that Dean Wu cares about Xiaoxian very much. Is it possible that he really thinks he is a treasure?" Whether it is yes or no can only be verified with time. Wu Meng smiled. Bai Sheng also said harsh words. Say it. Don't think that you are great just because you defeated Hu Shui. I can tell you the truth, if it was Mu Xiaolong or Wang Ralong who took action that day, Xiaoxian would definitely be defeated. Wang Ao. Damn. After the martial arts dispute. After all, the gap between the blue god realm and the spiritual god realm is still too big. Humph, I have some determination, Wang Ao sneered, turning around and leaving without looking at Wu Meng's ugly expression. It was as if the legs were filled with lead. Let me ask, even the weakest Wu Meng lineage can defeat Wang Ao's lineage. Does their stronger lineage really have no chance of winning when competing with Wang Ao and Bai Sheng's lineage? Even though he was far away, Xiao Xian felt chills all over his body, as if there was an invisible force oppressing him. Wu Meng's lineage is naturally the biggest winner. The new members of their lineage have almost all the Kung Fu resources in the Kung Fu Pavilion. To sum it up, don't show this little trick in front of me. Wu Meng's lineage was the biggest winner. Wang Ao and Bai Sheng's lineage not only lost the skills they originally obtained, but also lost face in front of many lines. The battle over the skills is not over yet. There are some third-level skills left. In an instant, Xiao Xian realized that this was Wang Ao's deliberate mischief and wanted to embarrass him. Don't take things too far. Although Wang Ao's lineage suffered a lot in the fight with Wu Meng's lineage, Bai Sheng's lineage was the former's younger brother. Even so, they did not dare to fight for it. Keep your body from falling to the ground. They all have something in mind. There were even some veins after seeing them defeated. After Xiao Xian was attacked by the Divine Soul, he was still somewhat injured in the Divine Palace. After watching Wang Ao leave, Xiao Xian still had a bit of Xiao Xian's eyes flowing out, and his body was dripping with sweat, as if he had taken a shower. Only then did Wang Ao's sneak attack be resolved. Gritting his teeth. What a powerful soul power! Wu Meng also instantly noticed Wang Ao's move. With a move of his hand, a powerful force of soul blocked in front of Xiao Xian. It's so heavy that I will fall to my knees. He. Xiao Xian desperately mobilized the power of the soul in his body to forcibly stabilize his mind and keep his head clear. Wang Ao's eyes were cold and he threatened every word. In the end, they could only take some leftovers from Wang Ao's lineage. Naturally, Wang Ao's lineage and Bai Sheng's lineage can only fight for it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 613. How do you feel? You are still too reckless. Wang Ao is a master of the second level of the Blue God realm. He has been immersed in the Blue God realm gold for many years. Although he is not a major in Divine Soul, his power of Divine Soul should not be underestimated. Wu Meng frowned. Just now, he really didn't expect Wang Ao to be so shameless. As a branch dean, he suddenly attacked a new student. This was simply a shameless performance. Fortunately, Xiao Xian responded quickly. Otherwise, at least the soul will be weakened, and at worst, the foundation will be damaged. Seeing Xiao Xian's painful look, Wu Meng frowned slightly, and a strong divine soul energy was poured into Xiao Xian's divine palace, slowly repairing the damaged soul just now. After a long time, Xiao Xian's spirit recovered slightly, and the pain between his brows was no longer so painful. He raised his hands and thanked Wu Meng. Rest assured, I will give you an explanation for this matter. Wu Meng's face didn't look good either. As Xiao Xian's master, he actually watched his apprentice being bullied by others. Isn't this just a slap in his face? If this matter goes to nothing, this is definitely a weakening of his prestige. Thank you, master, no need. Xiao Xian shook his head and refused. I still like to find a scene for myself in some things. After saying this, Wu Meng's face was a little surprised. I couldn't help but take a closer look at Xiao Xian. Xiao Xian was at the beginning of the spiritual god realm. Perhaps with the help of Po Yuan Dan, he could be promoted to the intermediate level of the spiritual god realm. Even so, he is still far away from the Blue God realm. But looking at Xiao Xian's intention now, it seems that he doesn't take this matter to heart at all. It seems that he is very confident that he can enter the Kangshen realm and even defeat Wang Ao with his own strength. This is definitely not an easy task. You know, based on Xiao Xian's previous actions, it can be roughly seen that he has some cultivation talents. But even so, the Blue God realm is not that easy to reach. What's more, in the entire Qinghua Academy, Wang Ao is also considered the best in the Kangshen realm. Why can Xiao Xian defeat him? It's a good thing that you have such thoughts. However, you need to practice step by step, and you should not do it too hastily, so as not to damage your foundation and backfire on yourself. Wu Meng advised, your soul has just been damaged, so you should go back and rest first. I will go to Wang Ao for an explanation. After saying that, he turned around and left with an angry look on his face. See this scene. Xiao Xian was also a little surprised. He and Wu Meng had not known each other for a long time. Although they had a master-disciple relationship, their relationship was not very close. But now, Wu Meng would take the initiative to trouble Wang Ao for Xiao Xian. Although they were respectively the branch deans of Qinghua College, and even if they had conflicts, they would not really fight to the death. Such behavior really touched him. Return to the cabin. Xiao Xian did not expect that Long Ruoxiu and Qing Li were waiting for him at the door early. Judging from the looks of the two people, it was obvious that they had been waiting for a long time. From the looks in their eyes, he roughly guessed that they were probably here for Gongsun Xiaoxiu's business. Xiao Xian suddenly rang, and when Cheng Lao mentioned Kang Long's father Kang Wu, Kang Long suddenly lost consciousness for a moment. In a place like Outer Territory Tianyu, wouldn't the competition be even more cruel? I have heard. In this regard, Xiao Xian just shook his head slightly. Compared to these two people, he did not have a thorough understanding of Dao continent, so naturally he could not answer these questions. Qing Li said, however, there are spatial turbulences in the void. Without the strength above the Blue God realm, human cultivators will die as long as they enter. This is something that can only appear in the bodies of monsters of level 5 or above. This thing can greatly enhance the power of a cultivator's faith and enhance the cultivator's affinity for faith. Xiao Xian explained the matter without waiting for them to ask questions. Xiao Xiao was taken away by an old man from Tianyu outside the territory. Although Long Ruoxiu was angry at Xiao Xian for letting Gongsun Xiaoxiao go. The outer world is a self-contained universe. It is said that the Taoist and spiritual power there is stronger than here, Qing Li explained, so the practitioners there are naturally stronger. You also said, what kind of spirit is being transported? The old man said that he would accept her as his apprentice and that he would treat her well in the future. He said that this would not waste her natural sword talent, and I agreed. What is this monster spirit? Xiao Xian frowned. Long Ruoxiu shook her head and said helplessly, Gongsun Xiaoxiao went to a place like that. Even if he is born with a sword fetus, he must work hard to practice, otherwise it will be difficult to survive in the future. Yeah, this thing can't be entirely blamed on Xiao Xian. Qing Li also sighed, Xiao Xian, don't be too anxious. In fact, we also have the opportunity to go to the outer world, but, at least we have to go to Kangshen. Only the strength above the realm is enough. Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other, equally confused. Yes. Xiao Xian, do you know where the outer territory Tianyu is? How could you agree with the old man to take Xiao Xiao away? Long Ruoxiu said with anger on her face, that is a place where there is a narrow escape from death. He could imagine that in a strange place, Gongsun Xiaoxiao would experience all kinds of hardships while practicing. But she quickly regained her senses. If such a person appears, there is nothing you can do to stop him. Xiao Xian frowned again and couldn't help but ask, but that old man said that the cultivators in Tianyu outside the territory are better than those here. Why do you say that? How come people from outside Tianyu came to the eastern wilderness continent inexplicably? Or even came to the Mingzhou territory? However, I heard that even Dean Kanglong and Elder Lei Hongming couldn't stop the outsider with their combined efforts, which shows that this person is at least above the Golden God realm. Then why is it a place of narrow escape? Xiao Xian was still puzzled. Hearing this, Xiao Xian clenched his fists. What? Qing Li explained, it is said that the power of faith has many benefits for practitioners in the Blue God realm and even the Golden God realm. It seems that our Dean Kanglong's father has been to the outer world. Although the outer world is rich in resources and power, it is short of monster spirits. People from other worlds often need to travel through the void to transport them. Do you know that, old man? Seeing that Xiao Xian really didn't do it, you should know that the more talented people are in a place, the more intense the competition. Even in a place like Qinghua College, students are divided into freshmen and old students, and even inner disciples and elders are divided into deans. There may even be danger. It can be said that a place like that is only suitable for talented people to survive. Those without strength must either quit or die. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 614. Then what does outer territory Tianyu exchange for? Xiao Xian continued to ask, since the monster spirit is so good, why would their world give this thing to outer territory Tianyu? Qualification to stay in Tianyu outside the territory. That's the biggest reward. Qing Li said, this is what I heard from a senior royal family member, because the Tao power in Tianyu outside the territory is more abundant, and cultivators make faster progress there. Therefore, in order to go further, strong men above the Kengshen realm will want to enter. That, I see. Xiao Xian nodded. The purpose of practicing a discipline is to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. Since there is a better place to practice, it will naturally cause cultivators to flock to it. But that's not what we should be thinking about right now. Because the battle for freshmen is about to begin. Long Ruoxiu and Qing Li were talking, and at the same time they focused on Xiao Xian and asked, what level is your strength now? Face these looks. Xiao Xian was a little embarrassed for a moment. Although he defeated Hu Shui in the martial arts battle, he also understood that this was just an advantage he took. After the golden armor giant consumed a lot of energy from the blood monster. Only then did he take advantage of the Xianyang demon killing battle to take the opportunity to defeat Hu Shui. If they really had to fight face to face, he might not be his opponent yet. And after the dispute over the skills, he hasn't had time to practice yet, so he is still at the elementary level of the spiritual God realm. You must seize the time and strive to break through to the intermediate level of the spiritual God realm, so that you will not fall behind in the new life. Long Ruoxiu advised. Well, I have already touched the intermediate barrier of the spiritual God realm. With the help of Po Yu and Dan, it will not be a problem to break through to the intermediate level. You can rest assured of this. Xiao Xian thought for a moment, then looked at the two of them. You two are here not just for this matter, right? He is not a fool either. Realm cultivation and strength improvement, these are things that they don't need to talk about. Why do they still need to come to remind them? There is also the matter of competition among professors. Because there are relatively few professors in our lineage, the threshold for running for professors has been raised. Qing Li said helplessly, the new students need to master the 3 profound arts and defeat competitors from other lines. 3 occult arts. Such rules are quite harsh even for everyone in the big sect. After all, not everyone can obtain the mystical technique. Even the children of a big family, unless they are the most favored sons of heaven, will not be rewarded by the mysterious technique casually, and even if they are rewarded, it is extremely difficult to learn the 3 mysterious techniques at the same time. Is this rule only for our lineage, or does it apply to all branches? Xiao Xian asked with a frown. This is not just for our lineage. Long Ruoxiu took over, however, among all the branches, only our lineage is relatively weak, so it is equivalent to targeting us. Hearing these words, Xiao Xian also looked unhappy. Now he still doesn't know who came up with such rules. However, anyone with a discerning eye can see that this rule was only introduced after the dispute over the martial arts. Before the battle over skills. Practitioners of all lineages also know that Wu Meng's lineage should be the weakest. Xiao Xian used the Dao formation to defeat Hu Shui. This was already a huge surprise, but who knew that because of this incident, Bai Shen and Wang Ao could come up with such shameless moves? Wasn't this specifically targeting Xiao Xian? Xiao Xian, what do you think about this matter? Qing Li pursed her lips. If not, why don't you attend this year's professor battle? After all, Xiao Xiao has been sent away, right? Yes, professor disputes happen every year. There is no need for us to compete with Wang Ralong for a short period of time. Long Ruoxiu nodded. Why are you persuading me like this? Is this matter very important? Xiao Xian was a little surprised. In fact, what these two people said was correct. At that time, his purpose in participating in the professorship dispute was indeed to place Gongsun Xiaoxiao in Qinghua College. Now, Gongsun Xiaoxiao has been picked up by Chen Lao. It seems that Xiao Xian has no need to waste time in the professor dispute. But giving up, isn't it Xiao Xian's character? Although he didn't want to make enemies casually in Qinghua Academy, since the other party was deliberately looking for trouble, don't blame him for being rude. After all, with his strength, he also wanted to believe that if he was promoted to the intermediate level of the spiritual god realm and had various Taoist trump cards, defeating Wang Ralong would not be impossible. You mean? Are you still going to participate in this professor's dispute? Long Ruoxiu was very surprised. Xiao Xian defeated Hu Shui last time. This was indeed something that surprised her, but although Hu Shui was a high-level spiritual god realm, he had a lot of water at this high level. It is said that when he was promoted to the high level of the spiritual god realm, he also forcibly used an incomplete Yuan Dan. Although he was successfully promoted in the end, it also damaged his cultivation foundation. Therefore, compared with Wang Ralong and Mu Xiaolong, Hu Shui, a high-level spiritual god, was far behind him. Even compared with Lu Tai, he was far behind. If Long Ruoxiu and Hu Shui were to fight, I'm afraid they would be able to defeat the latter within 3 rounds. Good. Only by participating, can I know what my strength is. Xiao Xian's eyes were firm. Besides, if you can become a professor at Qinghua College, you will get more abundant training resources. Wouldn't Miss Long be tempted? Got this reply. Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other, with a bit of surprise and a bit of approval in their eyes. Although at present, Xiao Xian is only at the beginning level of the spiritual god realm. However, he is not afraid to face opponents who are at the high level of the spiritual god realm, or even at the peak of the spiritual god realm, and have the courage to challenge them. Just rely on this impact. I'm afraid that in the future, Xiao Xian's achievements will not be bad. Moreover, although the two of them came today to persuade Xiao Xian to give up, they also had a strong motivation in their hearts. I don't want Xiao Xian to really give up this time. After all, Wang Ralong and Mu Xiaolong had clearly provoked Wu Meng's lineage in the previous dispute over the martial arts. If Xiao Xian is timid now, isn't it just to tell others that the strength of their lineage is not as good as others? In this case, the two of us will accompany you for a while. We will also participate in this martial arts battle. Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other and smiled. This was a bit beyond Xiao Xian's expectations. Didn't you say that there is only one place for the professor competition? Are you going to? Does it mean that there is no limit on the number of places when registering? Xiao Xian was puzzled. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not fo. Chapter 615. You're right. In the competition for professors, there are actually two places, one for men and one for women. Qing Li smiled at Xiao Xian and said, I think both Long Ruoxiu and you can become professors. Say it. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu looked at each other, and both saw full confidence in each other's eyes. Speaking of which, the two of them are regarded as the most powerful and favored sons in the family. Although Qinghua College is full of talents. But this did not make them feel pressured. Instead, they became more motivated and more confident when facing the people in front of them. I didn't expect Qinghua College to have such a rule. This is a good thing for us, so, we will meet at the professor's seat then. Xiao Xian smiled. For Long Ruoxiu, the little witch of the Long family. He really hated and loved her at the same time. Sometimes, what Long Ruoxiu did made him so angry that he almost vomited blood. But sometimes, it was Long Ruoxiu who actually stepped forward and helped him a lot. Apart from anything else, I can come to him specifically today. This shows that in Long Ruoxiu's heart, Xiao Xian is not a dispensable person. They may already be friends. Snort. I can tell you that among female practitioners, there are not many who can practice both mystical arts. My chances of success are much higher than yours. Long Ruoxiu is also a proud person at heart. Faced with Xiao Xian's slightly provocative words, she was also full of confidence. If nothing else, if this lady succeeds but you don't succeed, it will be ridiculous. Don't worry, I will never fail. Xiao Xian was also very confident. Why are you so confident? Long Ruoxiu frowned and said a few words. She saw that Xiao Xian was not trying to show off, but was confident from the bottom of his heart, as if this matter was under her control. Confidence comes from strength. Xiao Xian was too lazy to explain things like the system and the founding Yuanling. On the one hand, these things are a long story. Let alone the affairs of the two continents, even the recent events after arriving at the Dao continent would take a long time to tell. On the other hand, even if these wonderful experiences were told, no one would believe them, let alone Long Ruoxiu. I believe if the master knows all this, it will definitely be fun. Long Ruoxiu looked at Xiao Xian approvingly. So as you thought, we will meet at the professor competition then. When the time comes, I won't be merciful, Xiao Xian said deliberately. Humph, do you think that the name of my proud son is just mentioned casually? I will let you know what is the true high level of the spiritual god realm. Long Ruoxiu was also not to be outdone. You too. Qing Li also smiled bitterly. She could also see that Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu were really at odds with each other. They were fine at ordinary times, but once something happened, they would probably quarrel even more fiercely. In that case, then, what master asked me to do today is accomplished. Just when Long Ruoxiu and Xiao Xian were arguing, Qing Li suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Don't regret it. At this time, Qing Li's performance made the two of them confused, and they both looked at the latter without knowing why. Sister Qing Li, what do you mean? Don't you want to participate in the professor's dispute? Long Ruoxiu couldn't help but ask. Didn't you say everything just now? In the competition for professors, only one man and one woman can be qualified to be professors. If I go, wouldn't I be competing with you? Qing Li said to Long Ruoxiu, besides, I am still only at the middle level of the spiritual god realm. I won't be able to break through in a short time. If I go, I will only hinder you, so I won't go. She meant what she said. For a while, Long Ruoxiu was fine, but Xiao Xian felt a little uncomfortable inside and felt something strange in his heart. When I first met Qing Li, perhaps in Xiao Xian's opinion, he no longer hesitated and swallowed the elixir in one gulp, and instantly a warm and majestic Tao force penetrated into his body. Could it be that, as a person who is at the beginning of the spiritual god realm and is about to enter the intermediate level, he would have such a change in his body? According to what Xiao Xian knows, this should be a physical change that only occurs to high-level practitioners of the spiritual God realm. At this moment, he could even feel the longing for the elixir in his body. However, it was too late for him to think about it now. But now, under the stimulation of the power of the elixir, Xiao Xian returned to the wooden house and carefully took out the Po Yuan Dan that Wu Meng gave him. More importantly, Qing Li also told him about his life experience at that time. Although he did not directly ask him for help, Xiao Xian was direct, and with Qing Li's character, he would not give up the hope of restoring the country easily. The jade box was gently opened, and as soon as the pure white and round elixir was revealed, a faint medicinal fragrance instantly filled the wooden house. When the time comes, Xiao Xian does not want to be a bystander. If we follow the situation in Qi, when the time comes, she will have to face not only the Kanglong Empire, but also the rebel General Mu family, and even some other forces. But now, it appeared on him inexplicably. His qi is also constantly expanding, from being only the size of a fist to slowly swelling. The two of them were still in hostile camps. Although Qing Li was not very prominent at that time, he also helped Xiao Xian a lot when he escaped from the Kanglong Empire. Xiao Xian couldn't help but sigh. He saw that the elixir was as white as jade, and there was a strong aura of the avenue on it. It would obviously benefit a lot from swallowing it. Wave after wave of turbulent power of the avenue, like an endless stream of spring water, was inspired from the elixir and penetrated into his sea of qi. Under the washing of these forces, the only way he can do all this is to quickly increase his strength so that he is no longer just a spectator. His qi seems to be only the size of a fist, but it contains countless Tao power connotations. Watching Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu leave, Xiao Xian and Qing Li are also very good friends. What a pure elixir! Is this because of his physical condition? Keep expanding. His bones were actually plated with a faint light golden color. At the same time, he discovered that under the influence of the power of the elixir, golden bones. After taking a look at Po Yuan Dan, as the saying goes, one sand and one star, one flower and one world. From this perspective, the power of the Great Avenue circulates through Xiao Xian's body like a flexible dragon, while constantly strengthening his meridians and bones. His qi continued to expand, and there were even signs of becoming larger, which somewhat puzzled Xiao Xian. Wouldn't his body be stretched to pieces? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 616. Time passed by second by second. In the Po Yuan Dan, all the medicinal power was slowly stimulated, and then flowed into Xiao Xian's body. Just when he was absorbing it with peace of mind, a green shadow suddenly appeared in his sea of energy. Jiji. As soon as the green shadow appeared, it actually started to fight with him to break through the rich Taoist energy in Yuan Dan. Damn it! What's going on? Does anyone dare to steal my Taoist energy? Xiao Xian was a little anxious. Although this Po Yuan Dan was powerful, the energy in it was used to strengthen himself. Used to advance to the intermediate level of the spiritual God realm. Why are you trying to snatch this thing? Jiji. However, just when Xiao Xian was about to take action to drive away the green shadow, the little green one screamed a few more times. You mean, you only absorb a little bit? It won't affect my promotion to the intermediate level of the spiritual God realm. A consciousness suddenly came to Xiao Xian's mind. Chiji, Xiao Lu's voice sounded a bit pleading. All right. Xiao Xian also thought about it. When he helped the hunter quickly kill the dragon lizard beast, it was Xiaolu who helped him purify the impurities in the demon pill and allowed him to absorb the power. Speaking of which, it helped him a lot at the time. Now, since Xiao Lu took the initiative to ask for help, Xiao Xian could not refuse directly because of his emotions and reasons. Okay, but you can't be too greedy. Xiao Xian could only nod in agreement. Shishi. Shishi, Xiao Lu nodded happily, then opened his small mouth and pecked the Po Yuan Dan into pieces, and then swallowed a small part of it. You boy. My appetite is not small. Seeing Xiao Lu happily swallowing Po Yuan Dan, Xiao Xian also looked distressed. He could feel that the things involved were not that simple, and there seemed to be something unusual about them. Looking at you, it seems that swallowing these things is good for you. What kind of species are you? Look at this little green one that looks like a little sparrow. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be curious. At that time, if he remembered correctly, it seemed that the first time he met Xiao Lu was an accident. Jiji, Xiao Lu seemed to be dissatisfied with Xiao Xian's question, fluttering her wings and calling him twice. What's wrong? Look at you, are you still angry? The more Xiao Xian looked at this little thing, the cuter it became, and he said with a smile, I didn't expect that you can still understand me, but why can't you speak? You look like some ancient spiritual beast. Gee. This time, Xiao Lu seemed a little disappointed. Oh. You must have run into some trouble, right? If you are really an ancient spirit beast, you don't have to be so depressed. As long as you have a good enough chance, I believe you can get back on your feet. Xiao Xian has rich experience in this regard. Countless times, he has seen all kinds of wild beasts, races of heavenly spirits, and ancient bloodlines. These races can be called spiritual beings between heaven and earth. Back then, they either experienced ancient catastrophes, or experienced changes in the sea, and some even lost their racial bloodlines. But in the end, you can mostly rely on some adventures. Re-energize the body's blood vessels. Therefore, if Xiaolu is really such a creature, he is definitely a potential stock worth cultivating, and his future achievements will be immeasurable. Chiji. Regarding Xiao Xian's question, Xiao Lu didn't even reply. Instead, she just shook her head and got back into his sea of energy. This really made Xiao Xian a little embarrassed. Could it be that this is the so-called pride of blood? Even if he is just an ordinary person, he doesn't seem to be looked down upon so much, right? I gave it a lot of Po Yuan Dan, but this guy didn't even want to answer a question? Is this guy a little too stingy? Chiji. Just when Xiao Xian secretly cursed, Xiao Lu suddenly opened his small mouth and spit out a green fluorescent light, which directly wrapped the Po Yuan Dan. Surrounded by green fluorescence, the Po Yuan Dan actually changed from its original snow-white color to a green light on it. This is not the most important thing. Xiao Xian clearly felt that the power of the Po Yuan Dan seemed to have increased a lot. Xiao Lu, are you very powerful? Can it actually improve the quality of Po Yuan Dan? Xiao Xian roughly understood that Xiao Lu could eliminate the violent factor in the demon pill by just removing it casually. Now, with a random change, the potency of Po Yuan Dan can be increased. Even Master Wu may not be able to do this kind of method. Could it be that the main function of Xiao Green is to help with cultivation? And more importantly, it is to strengthen the power of the elixir. Xiao Xian's heart moved. Pill. He seems to have quite a lot of this stuff. At that time, in the secret realm, in addition to the heavenly demon blood melting pill, there seemed to be a dragon body pill. According to the meaning of the system, it seems that he needs to help King Li regain his country before he can truly obtain these pills. But after such a long time, Qing Li seemed to have no intention of returning to the country for the time being. In this case, he did intend to use these pills in advance. I really want to talk about it. These elixirs were left alone, so it was better to let him use them in advance. However, before that, he needed to absorb the medicinal power in Po Yuan Dan. This was the most important thing. So he didn't hesitate at the moment. A thick Tao force surged out from the sea of Qi. This time, under the urging of Dao power, the medicinal power of the Po Yuan Dan was completely broken out and directly instilled into Xiaoxian's Qi Si. Under the infusion of powerful and majestic medicinal power, there were beads of sweat on Xiaoxian's forehead, and a white mist appeared on his head under the steaming sweat. A full 2 hours. He just refined all the medicinal power in Po Yuan Dan. What surprised him was that the Po Yuan Dan, which had been strengthened by Xiao Lu, had a vague coolness in its power. This cool feeling could actually slowly restore his newly damaged soul. Could it be that this little green's power can restore injuries? Thinking of this, Xiaoxian couldn't help but get a little excited. He had just passed half a move in Wang Ao's hand, and the power of his soul was damaged. If little green can help heal injuries, then that would be great. There was another burst of Dao power. Another half an hour later, with the recovery of green power, the power of the soul in his body returned to its peak again. After all this trouble, Xiaoxian was also tired and sweating profusely, but after feeling the full strength in his body, he was quite satisfied. Now, he has stabilized his realm at the middle level of the spiritual god realm. In addition, he also has a green power lingering in the sea of Qi, as well as light gold bones in his body. Combat effectiveness is greatly improved. He was confident that if he met Hu Shui again now, he would still be invincible even without the Xianyang scrub formation. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 617. The realm is stable at the middle level of the spiritual god realm. This is just Xiaoxian's first step. He also has a more important purpose, which is to find Xiao Lu to strengthen the dragon body pill and the demon blood fusion pill. To do it all, what needs to be settled is not efficiency, but the system. Figure this out. Xiaoxian immediately communicated with the system. Brother system, stop pretending to be asleep at this time and come out to express your opinion. Ahem, this system is sleeping. Please don't force the host to wake it up. Forced awakening. Hee hee. I still call you big brother, are you so shameless in this system? Look at Xiaolu and me, Master Wu, they have given me so many good things recently. Xiaoxian deliberately said sarcastically, as my personal system, don't you feel ashamed? Say it. The system didn't say anything for a long time. Xiaoxian had already expected this. After having the system for so long, he still had some understanding of the system's shamelessness. On weekdays, let alone he just said a few words casually. Even if he really said something more extreme, the system would not be angry. At most, it would just trick him into doing something. This system is a dispute fairness system, how can you do this? The system sounded embarrassed. There's no need to look like this, right? If my guess is correct, keep those cultivation resources of yours. They are useless anyway, so you might as well give them to me in advance, right? Xiaoxian was good at tempting, if you give it to me, maybe I can have a better impression of you and help each other in the future, right? As a veteran who has been in the cultivation circle for many years, he knew the weaknesses of the system too well. Although the system seemed serious on the surface, it was very afraid of him and seemed to have something very important for him to do. On weekdays, although there are many tasks assigned to him, if you do a few tasks, you can get a lot of rewards. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that these are specially left for him by the system. As for letting him complete the task, on the one hand, it was to train him and enhance his strength, on the other hand, it was just to find an excuse to reward him. So usually, as long as it's not too difficult, the system will agree to it. That's all. Since you have been strengthened by ancient spiritual beasts, these pills will be given to you. There was a rare hint of envy in the system's voice. I have to say, host, you are indeed very lucky to be able to find ancient spiritual beasts in a continent with such poor power. The words just fell. Two pills appeared in front of Xiaoxian. One is the dragon body pill that is completely black, and the other is the demon snow melting pill that Xiaoxian had previously stripped away a layer of soul power. Hey, I knew the system brother was still kind. Xiaoxian got the advantage and naturally thanked him one after another. It's just a little thing, but... But what? Well, there are some things that maybe it's not good for you to know now. What's going on? System brother, how come you've become a mother-in-law? Just say what you want. Xiaoxian was stunned. Although he got the elixir he wanted, the last few words of the system made him feel something was wrong. It seems like the system is hiding something from him. However, despite his continuous questioning, the system had no intention of explaining. All right. Since brother system doesn't want to say more, forget it, but I will remember brother system's kindness in my heart. If there is anything else in the future, just tell me. Xiaoxian raised his hands to the void. Even if I go through fire and water, I will definitely help you, system brother, to accomplish what you want. After making a promise, he once again woke up Xiaolu unceremoniously. Comrade Little Green. Although I don't know what kind of ancient spiritual beast you are, there is a saying that meeting is fate. Now that we have met, we will be friends from now on, right? Xiaoxian summoned Xiaolu out of the air sea, hid two pills in his hands, and said mysteriously, just like now, we have to depend on each other and help each other, right? Jiji. Although Xiaolu had gained intelligence, he naturally couldn't defeat an old fox like Xiaoxian, so he just nodded. I saw just now that you can strengthen the elixir. I happen to need these elixirs too. If possible, I still hope you can help strengthen these two elixirs. Xiaoxian took out two pills with a smile. Hearing this, Xiaolu seemed a little embarrassed, chirped a few times, and barely let out a breath of green breath. This green aura was far less pure than the Po Yuan Dan attack just now. Isn't this bad? When young people do work, they have to be down to earth and take it step by step. Looking at you like this, you are passive and slacking off, Xiaoxian said with a straight face. Shishi. Ah. You said you don't have enough energy. What about this, then what energy do you need? Xiaoxian was a little embarrassed. Just now, he said something like lying to a child. Although it sounds reasonable, even he knows that he just wants Xiaolu to work for him for free. Unexpectedly, the green aura of Xiaolu is not unlimited. Ahem, then, according to your opinion, are you planning to let me use something else? Xiaoxian couldn't help but ask. Jiji. Xiaolu pointed at the demon blood melting pill in his hand with his wings, his little eyes full of greed. What the hell? Are you a little too greedy? To strengthen one pill, you actually want another pill from me? Xiaoxian was stunned, and his heart seemed to be bleeding. Not to mention the dragon body pill given by the system, the demonic blood fusion pill was a serious good thing. The divine soul white dragon aura on it alone allowed him to elevate the divine soul realm to the Taixu middle realm. So let alone the blood of the demon clan inside. He was a little reluctant to give it to Xiaolu. System hint. The aura of the heavenly demon clan contained in the heavenly demon blood melting pill is extremely powerful. The host's current body is too weak. This system recommends that it be given to this divine beast. The system's voice suddenly sounded. Rub it? Being despised again? Xiaoxian's face was as embarrassed as he wanted to be. He didn't expect that things would develop to this point in the end. He had heard of the heavenly demon tribe. It seemed that when the system gave him the heavenly demon blood melting pill, it had already told him to handle it with caution. Xiaoxian also considered this issue at that time. But he didn't take it too seriously. After all, no matter how powerful the demons are today, haven't they been refined into elixirs now? So what? Is it possible that a pill can make him explode and die? Now, after hearing the system prompts, I was really surprised. I had seen strong ones, but never such strong ones. What on earth is this legendary demon clan? So awesome. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 618. Here the system prompts. Xiao Xian looked at the demonic blood-melting pill with a bit more vigilance in his eyes. He understood that elixirs for improving strength were important, but more importantly, one had to have the strength to enjoy them. In this case, since he is not lucky enough to enjoy the blood of the demon clan, he should give it to Xiao Lu. After all, if it can improve Xiao Lu's strength, it will be an opportunity for him. All right. Since it's what you need, I'll give it to you. Xiao Xian pushed the demon blood-melting pill in front of Xiao Lu. Seeing his actions, Xiao Lu became obviously excited. She opened her mouth and swallowed the demon blood-melting pill in one gulp. This scene made him a little stunned. You know, even the system is afraid of the power of this heavenly demon blood-melting pill. Who knew that this little green would actually swallow it in one gulp? Even if Xiaolu is an ancient spiritual beast. Is what you are doing now a bit too domineering? At the same time, Xiao Xian also vaguely felt that there seemed to be a force melting away from the demon blood-melting pill. Under the operation of power. It was actually refined directly by Xiao Lu. What the hell? Isn't that what the system brother said just now? It's not that the power of this heavenly demon blood-melting pill is so overbearing that it can't even swallow me, the founding spirit. How come it's like a jelly bean here? Xiao Xian couldn't help but said, Brother system, are you lying to me? System prompt, this system is suitable for all ages. Children are innocent and can be held responsible for every word they say. Please do not make any assumptions. Hee, it's just a joke. System brother, don't be so anxious, Xiao Xian smiled slightly. The heavenly demon blood fusion pill is made using the bloodline of the heavenly demon clan. It contains the bloodline of the ancient heavenly demon clan. Its power is extremely domineering. If the host tries to refine it, he will probably explode and die in an instant, the system said. The answer was very blunt, obviously he was very sure about this matter. I see. Thank you very much, brother system, for reminding me. Xiao Xian hurriedly accepted it. In fact, even though the heavenly demon blood-melting pill is now in Xiao Lu's belly, he can still feel that the strong and domineering power is constantly being refined. What was even more terrifying was that he did feel a trace of strange blood power. There seems to be some ancient flavor in this bloodline power, just like some ancient race. It's a bit interesting. It seems that this heavenly demon blood-melting pill is really a little different. This ancient bloodline must contain powerful power. Xiao Xian couldn't help but admire. Power is nothing. Ancient spiritual beasts like Xiaolu need not only power, but more importantly, those ancient breaths, the system said. Ancient breath, oh, that's it. Xiao Xian nodded slightly, and at the same time he understood a little more. At the level of ancient spiritual beasts, they no longer care about power, but the desire for ancient treasures. This is a key factor in their return to strength. Then the demon race is also an ancient race. These things add up. I see. Oh. The next second, a grey stream of light appeared in front of him, and an old man in grey robe with grey hair appeared. It was Wu Meng. This tyrannical demon tribe, the mysterious Gong Sunhea, and the secret realm of the Kanglong Empire that appeared inexplicably. Thank you Master Wu. Xiao Xian also thanked him. I've met Master Wu. Xiao Xian saluted quickly. Master? Master Wu. Oh. But what about the demonic dragon power stone in that secret realm? Xiao Xian asked. but it is difficult to guarantee what the consequences will be after Wu Meng tells the higher UPS of the college about this matter. To be precise, today's demons are not qualified to call themselves an ancient race. At most, they are just descendants with a trace of ancient blood, the system said with a sarcastic tone. They only inherited a trace of blood power, so they have the audacity to call themselves ancient. Race is really ridiculous. Thank you so much, Master Wu. Xiaoxian was stunned and nodded quickly. He also felt that this matter seemed to be getting more and more complicated. Just now, I seemed to feel a strange aura. Is there anyone visiting? Wu Meng looked at Xiaoxian's wooden house and seemed to notice something. Xiaoxian was stunned. Xiaoxian was stunned. It seems that there are some different secrets hidden behind it. Forget it, these are not things you can touch. Your master is here. After the system finished speaking, it hid itself again. This was the first time that he didn't understand what Wu Meng meant. Is it possible that you really want to compete with Wang Rolong for professor? This is a bit too difficult. After all, he is an intermediate level soul of Taixu. Wu Meng smiled bitterly and left after speaking. That should be a secret treasure, but it was lost by the demon clan, the system said. This matter may also be related to Gong Sunhea. After Wu Meng checked it carefully, he still didn't find any clues, so he nodded and said, you can use this soul condensing grass to try to see if you can break through some soul realms. This will also be helpful for your election as professor. Wang Rolong is at the middle level of Taixu. Mu Xiaolong is weaker and only has the elementary level of Taixu. Wu Meng hesitated for a moment and added, if you can use the soul condensing grass to condense the power of the soul at the elementary level of Taixu, you can also. Not bad. The heavenly demon blood melting pill involves the heavenly demon clan. This is definitely not a secret that can be exposed casually. Wu Meng can be trusted more. No Bijao Li, this is the soul condensing grass I got from Wang Ao. You can use it to restore your soul. Wu Meng took out a piece of oil green spiritual grass and handed it to Xiaoxian. This stone is also the cornerstone that continuously delivers power to the secret realm. Xiaoxian also nodded. Xiaoxian suddenly realized something. He remembered clearly that he found it in the secret realm of the Kanglong Empire. The most important reason why the secret realm existed was because of a piece of heavenly demon dragon power stone. But, isn't there still a gap between Taixu beginner and Wang Rolong? How can we compete like this? 3 days later, there will be a professor's battle. Although the professor's battle does not require a head-on confrontation, it does require using the power of the soul to demonstrate mystical skills and compete with them. Whoever is more powerful will become a professor, Wu Meng said. According to previous understanding, in the competition among male professors, only Wang Rolong and Mu Xiaolong are your biggest opponents. I see. I wonder what level their soul power has reached, Xiaoxian asked. However, it is now in Xiaoxian's hands. Xiaoxian felt nervous inside. There are no outsiders, just Long Ruoxiu and Qing Li are here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 619. Taixu Intermediate Level. I didn't expect that Wang Rolong also has the power of the Taixu Intermediate Soul. That's a bit interesting. Xiaoxian nodded slightly. It seems that in this small Mingzhou domain, the younger generation is really extraordinary, and Wang Rolong is the number one among the younger generation. Not only has the Dao power level reached the high level of the spiritual god realm, but even the divine soul realm has reached the middle level of Taixu. From this perspective, Wang Rolong is really an opponent worthy of attention. Then come on. I would like to try to see how capable this guy is. Xiaoxian is a person who is not afraid of the strong. Moreover, although Wang Rolong now feels oppressive to him, it is not to the point where he cannot defeat him. Moreover, According to Wu Mang, the professor's dispute is just a competition for the power of the soul. This is actually a good thing for him. Moreover, with the soul condensing grass, he had 3 days to increase the power of his soul, which would give him a better chance of defeating Wang Ralong. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. Under Xiao Xian's persuasion, Xiao Lu took action again and helped strengthen the dragon body pill and condensing grass. However, it was not what he expected. Even with the strengthening of the condensing grass, his power of soul still did not go any further and became the lower level of Taixu. But with the help of Ningxuan grass, his Taixu backstage has become thicker. What surprised Xiao Xian was the originally black dragon body pill, after being strengthened by Xiao Lu, actually contained a subtle hint of the green Holy Spirit. After being refined by him, there was actually a slight trace of Holy Spirit power in his body. He tested it and found that this power could repair wounds. Some minor wounds were repaired almost instantly. Moreover, after being strengthened by the dragon body pill, his body functions have also been greatly strengthened. During offense and defense, the sound of dragon roars can be heard on his body. According to the system, this is a dragon power bonus. Dragon power. This can't help but remind Xiao Xian of the dragon clan on the ancient continent. The dragon clan is the lord of the sky, and their bodies are extremely powerful. After reaching great perfection, they can even cross the void directly. With this, the dragon clan is the first race with enhanced physical bodies on the ancient continent. But that's the case. The dragons in the prehistoric world still need to be respectful when facing him and don't dare to show off with their physical body. Otherwise, under Xiao Xian's palm, even the most powerful dragon king in the dragon clan might be killed by a palm strike. But now we are on the Great Dao continent. It was really unusual that a dragon body pill could strengthen his body so many times. What made him feel even more strange was that this dragon body pill was like a key. It seemed to have opened a door in his body, making him feel as if a hidden talent had been stimulated. Could it be that this is the secret of the dragon clan on the Dao continent? Xiao Xian frowned. Before he came to Dao continent, he could clearly feel that there was an inexplicable force that seemed to be guiding him. He originally thought that this should be a guide to the Great Road in the dark. But now it seems that things are not necessarily that simple. At least, he can feel that if this dragon body pill falls into the hands of the dragon people in the ancient continent, it may be good for them. Maybe the curse on them can be broken. Dragon clan, Phoenix clan, Kylin clan, how are you doing now? Xiao Xian couldn't help but look up and glanced at the distant sky. On the contrary, in order to improve the student's practical ability, Xiao Xian has always been concerned about this matter, but he has never had the time or clues to look for it. Isn't that Xiao Xian? Xiao Xian from Wu Meng's lineage. Is he really going to participate in the professor's battle today? These cultivators have still become strong men in the Mingzhou realm. Ouch. That is to say, I hope Xiao Xian can find a way to break the blood curse on them. The purpose behind this is self-evident. It is a blessing for the 3 clans to have such thoughts, but the road ahead is difficult, so we still need to do our best, the system's voice sounded again. Before leaving the primitive continent. Therefore, King Hua College does not prohibit private fights. Let the Mingzhou region become a region that stands out among the 108 regions in the Eastern Barren continent. After saying that, he walked out of the wooden house and went straight to the fighting battlefield. No, he seems to have had a breakthrough. His mind also became alive. Now I see Dragon Body Danho. Even among students, if a leg or foot is broken due to a fight, neither party will be punished. You need to start doing these things now. Could it be that the 4th level skills can no longer meet your needs? The system seemed a little surprised. The fighting battlefield of King Hua College is established in the center of the college. Xiao Xian said calmly, in addition, this time we have to work hard in the professor's war. I heard that after becoming a professor of Qinghua College, you can check the secret treasure hall in Qinghua College. There will be treasures in it that are not open to the outside world. It's natural. I'm satisfied for now. He has met the leaders of these three major races, and they have expressed their willingness to submit the entire race to the Xiao clan. I, Xiao Xian, am not a fool. It is impossible for me to know that it is impossible and do it. The broken bones of the heavenly dragon, I wonder if I can find them. And the effect of this is indeed good. Maybe things are not that simple, but don't worry, since I, Xiao Xian, have agreed to help you break the curse, I will definitely work hard in this direction, Xiao Xian said to himself. Are you kidding me? In the professor's battle, the weakest ones are all high-level ones in the spiritual god realm. What is he doing here? I remember he is a guy in the elementary level of the spiritual god realm. The academy will also regularly organize various fighting opportunities, bringing out precious elixirs, treasures, magic weapons, and even secret realm trial opportunities, so as to stimulate the students' passion for cultivation to the greatest extent. Since the establishment of Qinghua College, it has not only attracted a large number of outstanding colleges to sign up, but has also trained a large number of outstanding practitioners. But I feel that if I become a high-level spiritual god, these techniques may not be enough. Xiao Xian shook his head. Maybe this is my illusion, but no matter what, I will find this broken bone of the dragon. If we can take advantage of the opportunity to find more dragon body pills and extract the dragon bloodline from them, maybe we can break the dragon bloodline curse. It is said that the original purpose of the Qinghua old man in establishing Qinghua Academy was to cultivate a batch of truly powerful Taoists for the Mingzhou realm. At least, it's a direction to break the curse. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 620. On the battlefield. A man and a woman are fighting with weapons. The man had a heavy back and dark skin, and he was holding a broken back machete in his hand. As he swung the machete, he slashed at the woman in green on the opposite side in a precise and orderly manner. Facing this man who looks like a black bear, the woman in green was happy and unafraid. The silver sword in her hand was like a goddess scattering flowers. She lifted the weight as lightly as she could and pushed the machete aside with a heavy weight. Senior brother Feng Zhan is so powerful. From the looks of it, he has mastered the golden backsword technique, right? It seems that senior sister Chen Meng is in trouble today. Don't worry, Lu Ying's swordsmanship is the most powerful swordsmanship in Lu Lianyi's lineage. Senior sister Chen Meng will not be defeated easily. This is indeed the case. It seems that senior sister Chen Meng's swordsmanship is becoming more and more sophisticated. At this moment, Xiao Xian stood next to the fighting stage, watching the competition on the stage. Standing next to him were Qing Li and Long Ruoxiu. But at this moment, the two of them were watching with equal interest, and they were obviously attracted by the competition on the stage. After all, the people on the stage are also practitioners of the spiritual god realm. They are at a similar level to them, and it would be good for them to increase their combat experience by seeing more practitioners of the same level fighting against each other. And today is the time to run for professor. Most of the people on the fighting stage at the moment will also participate in the professor election later. It is naturally a good thing for them to see more about the strength of their opponents. Laugh. As he spoke, the long sword in Chen Meng's hand on the stage rose up like a fallen leaf and stabbed directly into the strong man's chest. The strong man saw this scene. At the same time, his expression changed, and he hurriedly put the machete in his chest, but in the face of this sudden attack, he was still a step slower. The long sword lightly touched the strong man's chest. The sharp sword energy drew a bloody mark on the latter's chest before stopping. Lu Meng, I hope you will keep your word in the future and never appear in front of me, Chen Meng said with a frosty face, otherwise, my weak willow sword will fall between your eyebrows next time. Sister Chen Meng, don't worry. However, sooner or later, I will definitely defeat you. The strong man's face turned slightly red, he gritted his teeth, lowered his head and left quickly. Seeing this scene, there was a burst of discussion around the fighting stage, most of which were praising Chen Meng. Obviously Chen Meng's performance just now shocked them. Could this Chen Meng be your opponent? Xiao Xian looked back at Long Ruoxiu. If you think about it, this person shouldn't be that simple, right? It's natural. I heard that he is the strongest female freshman in Qinghua College. Long Ruoxiu nodded, but then said, however, I am confident that I can defeat her with the power of the soul. Where are you? Of course I'm confident now. It's not like I haven't seen Wang Ralong before. Xiao Xian was equally indifferent. I really don't know why you have so much confidence. Long Ruoxiu took a deep look at Xiao Xian. What are you going to do? When the soldiers come, they will block the water and come to Tutan, Xiao Xian said with a smile. You'd better look over there before you say these words. Long Ruoxiu smiled slightly and pointed not far away. There, two cultivators were looking at Xiao Xian with cold and stern eyes. It was Wang Ralong and Mu Xiaolong. These two guys are really like brown candies. They can be seen everywhere. Those who don't know would think that these two guys want to chase me. Xiao Xian looked disgusted. You are really bold. Long Ruoxiu couldn't help but look strange. What's wrong? Xiao Xian didn't care. I'll tell you in advance that I'm not interested in either of them. If you like them, I can help you match them. Don't talk nonsense. Who would like them? Long Ruoxiu rolled her eyes at Xiao Xian again, and said dissatisfiedly, how can I, a dignified daughter of the Long family, like such a crooked melon and a jujube? Is it? Of course Xiao Xian knew. Long Ruoxiu is also a proud person at heart. Although Wang Ralong is the #1 master of the younger generation in Mingzhou domain, she may not really take it to heart. Wang Ralong and Mu Xiaolong did not have a good impression in front of them before. A woman like Long Ruoxiu would naturally look down on them. Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu were muttering to them here. Both Wang Ralong and Wang Ralong also understood that they definitely didn't say anything good, and most likely they were derogatory to them, so they also walked over. I heard that you two also signed up for the professor battle. It's really interesting. Is it possible that because I took advantage of the last time in the martial arts battle, I feel that I have become stronger? Isn't this funny? Faced with Xiao Xian and Long Ruoxiu, Mu Xiaolong was the first to sarcastically say, I don't mind reminding you that this time the selection competition for professors is about the power of the soul, so don't think about using any formation to win. Array. Do you think I can win with a formation? Hearing this, Xiao Xian's face looked a little strange. If you really want to talk about it, his previous victory over Hu Shui in the skill battle was indeed based on the formation bonus. But this time, we have to compete with these people for the power of the soul. Can we also use formations? As soon as this idea appeared, Xiao Xian felt a little excited. He had no pressure to defeat Mu Xiaolong with the power of the soul. But if he wanted to face Wang Ralong, he would have to use some means. After receiving the news from Wu Meng, Wang Ralong's soul has also reached the Taixuria realm. There is no doubt that this may be a challenge. But if there is help from the big formation, defeating Wang Ralong seems to be simple. What? Is it possible that junior brother Xiao Xian is trying another trick? If that's the case, it might be interesting. Mu Xiaolong looked at Xiao Xian, with a smile on his lips. When the time comes, it will be embarrassing. Yourself. Having said that, I think you may fail again. Xiao Xian still smiled. He. Xiao Xian, I still say the same thing. The last time we fought over skills, it was just that guy Hu Shui was such a loser. If I were to attack, you wouldn't even be able to take a single move. Mu Xiaolong's face was ashen. In Mingzhou domain, the cultivator he admired most was Wang Ralong, and he had been pursuing Long Ruoxiu. As a result, Xiao Xian not only provoked Wang Rulong. Being so close to Long Ruoxiu made Mu Xiaolong angry and jealous. Every day he saw Xiao Xian, he wanted to devour Xiao Xian. He. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. If you are really capable, just defeat me on the fighting stage, otherwise stop talking nonsense here. Xiao Xian had an idea in his mind and was too lazy to talk nonsense with Mu Xiaolong.